last lecture we discussed the Ramsay method for the isolation of the noble gases. In that method, we first of all removed oxygen by passing through the heated copper, and then we removed the nitrogen by passing through the chamber which contained ignited magnesium. So after removal of oxygen and nitrogen gases, then we subjected the remaining amount of air for fractional distillation, which gave the different fractions of the noble gases due to their difference in boiling point. Now we come to the fourth method of isolation of noble gases, that is Fischer ring method. In this method, air is first of all passed over the mixture of calcium carbide and carbon monoxide. That mixture contains around about 70% of these two compounds, carbon monoxide and calcium carbide, and it contains 10% of the calcium chloride along with that some other compounds, and this mixture is heated around about at 1073 Kelvin. When nitrogen and oxygen they are removed, nitrogen is removed as calcium cyanamide and oxygen is removed as carbon dioxide. Later on, the nitrogen, calcium, carbon dioxide is absorbed by alcoholic solution of KOH to produce K2CO3. Now the two gases they are removed, major gases of the air, nitrogen and oxygen, when they are removed, then remaining gases when subjected to the fractional distillation after the liquefaction, we get all the fractions of noble gases in that. So this is Fischer ring method. Let us see the reactions. Calcium cyanamide, calcium carbide heated with nitrogen to give you CaCnC, CaNCN. This is calcium cyanamide. And CO combines with O2 to give you CO2. CO2 when passed through alcoholic KOH, it is absorbed by alcoholic KOH to give you K2CO3 plus water. It settles at bottom. This also settles at bottom. The remaining gases when subjected to fractional distillation, they give different nobles. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. Radon is not found in the nature. It is prepared by the heating radium. When radium is heated, it will eliminate a alpha particle. Along with that, you will get radium. So in this manner, the different noble gases they are obtained. Now we come to the important questions of noble gases. These questions are, first of all, we will be doing a question why noble gases are no more called as inert gases. Because they have reactivity. Previously it was thought that they do not react, but Neil Bartlett prepared first compound of noble gases, after which a great revolution took place in the field of the compounds of noble gases, and number of compounds of these gases they were prepared later on. That's why these gases of 18th group, they were previously named as inert gases. They are no more called as inert gases, but they are called as noble gases because they have the reactivity and they are capable of forming the compounds. Then we have the question why electron affinity of noble gases is 0. So this is our question number 2. Why electron affinity of noble gases is 0. Answer it is due to their filled valence shell. They don't have the tendency to accept the electron. That's why we say the electron gain enthalpy of noble gases is zero. Then why noble gases possess high ionization energy? Answer is due to their stable valence shell configuration. They require high energy to lose their electrons, so have high ionization enthalpy. Why noble gases have low melting and boiling points? It is due to weak van der Waals forces among their molecules. Then we have fifth question. Why noble gases have low delta H fusion and delta H vaporization? We require very less energy to melt solidified noble gases or to vaporize liquefied noble gases. The reason is for that is that all the noble gases, they possess weak van der Waals forces among their molecules, so we don't have to work much. We have to work slightly to supply little amount of energy to separate their atoms, since they are held by weak van der Waals forces. Then what do you know about absorption of noble gases? How noble gases they get absorbed? Noble gases they get absorbed on the finely divided charcoal activated by heating it before absorption up to 1300 Kelvin. They are also absorbed by, you can say, the silica gel, and they can be absorbed by the bone ash also. So the reason for that is, since the bone ash particles or charcoal particles, silica gel, they have innumerable number of unsatisfied valencies, due to which these substances they can easily attract and keep the particles of the noble gases. Then we come to a next question. Comment upon uses of each noble gas. First of all, we take helium gas. We know helium is used in the filling of balloons, which are used for aerial flight. So it is also used as a cryogenic fluid in the research laboratories to maintain the low temperature. It is used in the treatment of asthma. The people who are asthmatic, they are treated with helium oxygen mixture. It is also used to provide inert atmosphere during the experiment. Then we have the uses of neon. Neon is used in neon lights, neon bulbs, which are used in the electrical instruments. It is also used in the discharge tube in electrical instruments like voltmeters, rectifiers, etc., to protect them. Then it is used in the safety signals in the vapor lamps. It is used. Then we have uses of argon. Argon gas is used in the filling of bulbs. Bulbs are generally filled with the argon gas and it provides the inert atmosphere, does not react with the tungsten filament of the bulb. It is used in chromatography as a carrier gas. It is used in the fluorescent lamps to provide atmosphere, inert atmosphere in the metallurgical operations. Then we have the krypton gas. Krypton gas, it is used in the gas filled lamps to detect defects in the steel casting. Steel casting में अप डाउन सरफेस होती है, उसको डिटेक्ट करने के लिए we use krypton. It is a mixture of krypton and xenon. They are used in the photographic tubes. Then we have radon. Radon is highly useful in the treatment of cancer. It is used in the treatment of cancer. It is radioactive in nature. It is used in the X-ray photography and in the radioactive research also. Who prepared first compound of noble gases? This is very important question from examination point of view. Who prepared first compound of noble gases? So, Neil Bartlett prepared first compound of noble gases. What he did, he heated first of all dioxygen with platinum hexafluoride and got the compound dioxygenyl hexafluoroplatinate. Since ionization energy of oxygen and xenon, they are nearly equal, so he got the idea why we should not heat xenon with PTF6 to get similar type of compound. And when he performed this experiment, he was successful in preparing the first compound of the noble gases, that is xenon hexafluoroplatinate. So what were the reaction involved in that case? PTF6 heated with oxygen, you got dioxygenyl platinum hexafluoride, and then he heated xenon with PTF6. Xenon hexafluoroplatinate. So this was the first compound which was prepared by Neil Bartlett, and after this large number of compounds they were prepared from the noble gases like xenon, krypton and radon. Then we have question number 8, give preparations of structures of all fluorides of xenon. Xenon produces 3 fluorides, difluoride, tetrafluoride and hexafluoride. When xenon is heated with F2 at 1 bar and 673 Kelvin, then we get XeF2. Xenon and fluorine, they are heated in the ratio of 2:1. So in order to prepare XeF4, we take xenon and fluorine again. They are heated in the ratio of 1:2. Temperature is raised here. Pressure is kept same. We get XeF4. And then we have third compound, that is XeF6. Xe plus 3F2 in the ratio of 1:20. And this is temperature is at 73 Kelvin. Now pressure is increased 10 to 20 bars. Barometric pressure, we get XeF6. Coming to their structure of XeF2. It has linear structure, 2 fluorine lying on the same axis, and it is having 3 lone pair of electrons, 2 lying on the upper side, 1 lying on the lower side. Then we have HCl4. It is sharing 4 electrons with 4 fluorines and 2 lone pair of electrons they are involved here. Then we have HCl6. HCl6 has shared 6 electrons and is left with only 1 lone pair of electron. That can be shown anywhere. So these are the structures of fluorides of xenon. Then we come to the properties of xenon fluorides. Chemical properties of xenon fluorides. First of all, action of H2. They combine with H2 and release fluorine. Give Xe plus 2HF in first case. Then we have HCl4. It combines with 2 molecules of hydrogen and will give you 6 Xe plus 4HF. Then HCl6 combines with 3 molecules of H2 to give you Xe plus 6HF. So hydrofluoric acid is formed when hydrogen is heated with xenon fluorides, and HF it is liquid due to hydrogen bonding. We have already studied it. Then we have the action of HCF2 combines with 2HCl to give you 2HF liquid plus Xe plus 2Cl2 only. Similarly, when it combines with HCF4, you get 4HCl here, you will get 4HF plus xenon plus 2Cl2 gas is obtained. Similarly, HCF6 can combine with 6 HCl molecule and can give you Xe plus 6HF plus 3Cl2 is obtained. So these are the two reactions. First is the action of hydrogen, second is the action of hydrochloric acid. Then we come to action of Ki on HCF4. It combines with Ki to give you Kf. Potassium iodide. HCF4 combines with 4Ki. Heated, you will get 4Kf plus Xe plus 2Y2. So iodine gas is obtained by heating with Ki. Then we have action of platinum. HCF4 combines with platinum. Platinum loses electron, becomes positively charged. HCF4 gets negatively charged. So this is called as platinum tetrafluorosenate. Similarly, it can combine with PF5. HCF2 when combines with PF5, it supplies 1 fluorine to it and HCF become positively charged, PF6 get negatively charged. So these are salt-like compounds. So this is the reaction. Then we have action of water on xenon fluorides. All of them they react with water. Xenon difluoride, xenon tetrafluoride, xenon hexafluoride. So we will be considering fifth reaction, that is action of water. So action of water, first of all we take 2HCF2. Get 4HF plus 2Xe. Along with that we will get O2 gas. Then action of water on HCF4, 6 molecules of HCF4 they are taken, they combine with 12 molecules of water to give you 24HF plus 6Hc, and along with that you will get O3, O3 molecules, 4O3. Ozone is obtained from this method. Then HCF6 can combine with 3 water molecules also. Give you 6HF plus XeO3. This is xenon trioxide, and xenon tetroxide can also be prepared by the same barium xenate when heated. This is called as barium xenate. Preparation of XeO4. So barium xenate then heated with sulfuric acid, 2 molecules of H2SO4. We get 2BaSO4, white precipitates. We get XeO4 plus you will get 2 water. So this is preparation of XeO4. Properties of XeO3 and XeO4. XeO3 is a colorless and highly explosive compound and is also used as a powerful oxidizing agent. XeO3 reacts with alkalis to form hydrogen xenate ions HXeO4. These are hydrogen xenate ions which are produced. Then we have the structure of these two compounds, XeO3 and XeO4. XeO3 has the structure like this. It is having one lone pair, then XeO4 is having no lone pair. Complete tetrahedral structure. Discuss the xenon oxyfluorides. Now we have the questions. Xenon also forms xenon oxyfluorides. So this is our next question. Discuss xenon oxyfluorides. They are XeOF2, XeOF4, XeOF2, XeOF4, XeO3, F2. Then we have XeOF4, XeO2F2. These are called as oxyfluoride. XeO2F4. These are called as xenon oxyfluorides. Then how to prepare them? They are prepared from the xenon fluoride, tetrafluoride and hexafluorides. They are very useful compounds in the industry. So we are seeing the preparations. First reaction is XeOF4 combines with water, give you XeF4. We'll get XeOF2 plus 2HF. This is xenon oxy difluoride. Then XeFOF6 combines with water, 2 water, you will get XeOF4 and 2 plus 4HF. If it combines with 1 water, it can give you XeOF4 plus 2HF. So these are the compounds, and XeF6 can also give XeO2F2. This is XeO2F2. And then we have the structure of these compounds. XeOF2, oxygen will be always joined by a double bond. Fluorine is lying on linear axis, oxygen is having double bond, two lone pair of electrons, they are left here. Then we have the structure of HeOF4, oxygen joined by double bond, four fluorine lying at the four corners of a sphere. Then we have a lone pair of electron, then we have HeO3, this is like this. HeO3F2, then we have HeO2F, it has a structure like this. Then we have HeO2F4, two oxygen, four fluorine at the four corner of a sphere. So these are the structure of these compounds. They are used as a oxidizing compound in the preparation of hydrofluoric acids. Then there is another important question: why helium and neon do not form compounds? Why helium and neon do not form compounds? Compounds are formed starting from xenon. So helium and neon, they do not form compound mainly because of their small sizes, their high negativity, they are high electron ionization energy. So these two regions, they avoid the formation of compound by helium and neon. They have high ionization energy, so their electron cannot be excited even by high electronegative fluorine, so they do not give compounds in the lab. So this is all about our P block elements, in which we have just finished the last family, that is noble gases. Tomorrow we'll start with another unit, that will be our 8th unit, that is D and F block. Thank you very much.